In the dark and twisted corridors of Norse mythology, few stories better illustrate the dangers of greed and the high price of cursed riches than that of Hreidmar, a powerful yet ill-fated king and magician. Though not as widely known as Odin or Thor, Hreidmar's tale is central to the Volsunga Saga and the Poetic Edda, forming the foundation of the legendary curse of the Andvaranaut, a ring so drenched in doom that it brings ruin to all who touch it. Hreidmar's story is a tale of gold, betrayal, and the chain reaction of vengeance that ultimately ends in the downfall of multiple generations. Hreidmar was the father of 3 sons, Regin, Fafnir, and Otter. Each of them played a significant role in Norse myth, but it was Otter's death that triggered the tragedy. Otter had the magical ability to transform into an otter and was doing just that, fishing in his animal form, when he was killed by Loki, who mistook him for a common animal. Loki, along with Odin and Honir, had been traveling and saw the otter with a fish in its mouth. Thinking it a great opportunity for a meal, Loki killed it and skinned it. Unbeknownst to the gods, the otter was Hreidmar's son. When they arrived at Hreidmar's hall and showed off their trophy, the enraged king seized them. Furious over the death of his son, he demanded restitution in the form of a ransom of gold, large enough to fill and cover Otter's skin entirely. The gods agreed, and Loki was sent to gather the gold. He captured the dwarf Andvari, who possessed an enormous hoard of gold, including a magical ring known as the Andvaranaut, which could multiply wealth. When forced to hand over his treasure, Andvari cursed the ring, declaring that it would bring death and misfortune to anyone who owned it. Despite Loki warning Hreidmar of the ring's curse, the greedy king insisted on including it in the ransom. Once the skin was filled and covered with gold, including the cursed ring, Hreidmar released the gods. But the curse began to work almost immediately. Hreidmar refused to share the gold with his remaining sons, Fafnir and Regin, sparking deadly jealousy. Fafnir, driven by greed and the lust for power, murdered his father to claim the treasure for himself. After the patricide, Fafnir took the form of a dragon, one of the most iconic creatures in Norse mythology, and guarded the hoard deep in the wilderness. Regin, meanwhile, bided his time, waiting for an opportunity to take the treasure and avenge his father. His plan involved raising a young hero, Sigurd, to slay Fafnir and win the gold. This plot would unfold in the Volsunga Saga, a central narrative in Norse literature and the basis for Wagner's Ring cycle operas. Hreidmar's story is not just a footnote, but the spark that ignited a curse, leading to the deaths of his sons, the betrayal of heroes, and the downfall of kingdoms. His insistence on keeping the Andvaranaut, despite being warned of its curse, reflects a central theme in Norse mythology, that fate cannot be avoided, and those who try to cheat destiny often meet it more quickly. Hreidmar also serves as a cautionary figure, a symbol of unrelenting greed and pride, traits that often led to ruin in Viking lore. In the moral structure of Norse myth, where honor, loyalty, and wisdom are prized, Hreidmar is remembered not as a wise king or noble father, but as a man blinded by gold. His downfall doesn't come from outside enemies or gods. It comes from within his own house, his own bloodline, and ultimately from his own choices. Today, Hreidmar's tale resonates in stories of cursed wealth and the corrupting influence of power. His legend lives on through modern fantasy literature and media, often mirrored in cursed objects and doomed lineages. For followers of Asatru or Norse paganism, Hreidmar represents the darker side of legacy and inheritance, where unchecked desire leads to destruction, and where even kings are at the mercy of the unseen forces of fate. Despite his short-lived presence in the sagas, Hreidmar's impact is immense. He is the father of a dragon, the cause of divine conflict, and the unwitting seed of a myth that would echo through generations. His story is proof that even the mightiest sorcerers and wealthiest kings are not immune to the consequences of greed, and that in the end, gold cannot buy peace, only doom.